Okay, come on. Can you let them out?
Yes.
I've been growing my own food and, raising my own ducks for eggs for the last, I would say, 3 years. My older daughters used to be a very picky eater. And I was like, okay, well, we gotta do something about this. So when she started gardening with me, she would come out and I'd be like, oh, can you pick the beans for me? Can you pick the dandelions for me? Can you pick this? Can you pick that? And we would go home and she's like, what are you gonna do with them? And I'm like, I'm gonna cook them. And she'll say, can I try them? And I'll be like, oh my God, okay, of course you can try them, All right, think you can roll it for me?
This.
Okay. We also started fishing last year, and the fish that we catch when we come home, before she didn't like fish. And one of the things that's, is very important to me is that we're thankful for the animal for giving its life to us. So every time we catch something or we're processing something, we always thank the animal, and she'll bow to it and she'll be like, thank you for, giving your life to us. So, this I feel like is teaching her compassion, but also letting her know that this is kind of like the natural circle of life. At least when we've had to process, our poultry, they lived their entire life, free ranging in my backyard, eating, whatever that they wanted to, they had a good life. We didn't treat them poorly. I don't think we're ever going to get comfortable with processing our own food, but that the fact that I can feed my family, I know what goes into their food. I know what goes into the meat that we eat, the fruit that we eat, the vegetables that we eat. For me, that's mainly why I started doing this.
Girls, we got chicks. This is our little urban homestead of sorts. We've been here for 3 years now. One of the first things we did was build and plant our vegetable garden. We have chickens. We have 6 laying hens at the moment. We just got 5 more chicks today. We have fresh eggs every day. Chickens are free range, so they're free to come and go as they want, eat whatever they want, and it shows in their general health and in the quality and the nutrition of the eggs. There really is no comparison between a store-bought egg and one that we're growing here on the farm. I've been beekeeping this is going to be my 6th year. There's nothing quite like having some warm honey that you take off and it glistens in the sun. I speak about our daughter a lot. She's almost 4. She knows where a beet comes from. She knows what a carrot looks like in the garden before it's cut up and processed, before it's cooked down and served on a plate. It's not just coming out of the freezer. And it makes us feel like food as medicine, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do here. It makes us feel more connected to our earth, to our culture, remember what it's like to live off the land.
I'm Mike Fiorentino, I'm 21 years old. I live here in East Yaphank with my parents. Right back here we raise goats, we raise chickens, we have rabbits, do some gardening as well. So the goats are raised mainly as a hobby. We'll raise them for shows. When we're not at shows, they'll remain at home, and that's where a lot of the work happens behind the scenes, where we'll be milking them and feeding them. We'll raise the kits up, we'll sell them sometimes as pets, sometimes as breeding stock for other people to contribute to their herds. And then we'll also raise them up for meat as well. The chickens are used mainly for the eggs. Occasionally, if we have some older hens, what we'll do is we'll process them and then we'll consume them as well. And also we'll raise up some younger chickens and process them and consume them as well. Homesteading on Long Island has sort of been revitalized in the past few years, and we're seeing a lot more people getting involved in this, whether it be starting gardens in their backyard, raising chickens, raising honeybees, and I think that's very important to keep that trend growing on Long Island. A lot of young people are packing up and they're going to school and they're never returning back to Long Island because it's becoming so difficult to live here. So I think it's important that if we keep this going, then maybe that'll convince a lot of people to stay here and develop their own communities here.